テレ東BIZ。
And dissent, and the first president of the Czech Republic wrote.
So I think it's getting worse and worse. So everyone became calm due to the national security law. So how do you see the situation in Hong Kong at the moment?
The political situation in Hong Kong is getting more difficult, getting direr. The government's crackdown is heavier. We still see many of the political campaigner that they've been locked in jail for more than a year without a proper trial. For example, for Jimmy Lai, for Benny Tai, for Joshua Wong, they still don't know when they could get out of jail or even they can get out of jail. So it's really difficult. And in terms of the future, Beijing also wants to implement new set of national security law. That is the Article 23 that we called in Hong Kong. So in the short-term future, we will only see heavier crackdown on the political freedoms of Hong Kong. For now, Beijing is very confident in its own political system. They believe that their totalitarian system is the best. They stop showing that they are catching up the West. So that if you look at what had happened in Hong Kong is a reflection of Beijing's aggressiveness and they are basically arrogance. So if in the long term that if Beijing face a lot of difficulties that made them reconsider whether this system is sustainable, there are of course possibility for change in Hong Kong. So for me, the most important task is to urge democratic countries to work together and to have coordinated pushback to Beijing's global aggression, because that is what gives them confidence and the ability to turn Hong Kong into an authoritarian police state.
What is your achievement in London after you moved to London?
I would say that for me and for the other activists who've been doing advocacy work for Hong Kong, we have seen a clear and drastic change in the way the UK politics and UK people see China. When I first arrived in London, the Boris Johnson government was still discussing whether to incorporate Huawei, a China infrastructure company on electronic devices, into the 5G infrastructure. But for now, basically, no one in the parliament would stand up and say we should incorporate them or we should deal with China only because we can earn money from them. So for me, I think my work and other people's work really raised an alarm in Europe, in the UK, and the sentiment towards how we should deal with China become more and more assertive. Yes, this is the book that I published last November. The name is Freedom, How We Lose It and How We Fight Back. This is a book with my personal story and political analysis of Hong Kong situation. The past years that I've been through as a political activist actually reflected the erosion of Hong Kong's freedom, from student activists that fight for democracy to a youngest legislator and then being disqualified, thrown to jail, and for now to be an exile activist. So this is a book that I wrote to international audience, hope that they can have a glimpse of what is happening in Hong Kong and the importance of it. We can learn a lesson in Hong Kong. We should not take freedom for granted. We should not take democracy for granted. And the world has to be very vigilant towards the aggression of the Chinese Communist Party and try to do something to have a coordinated pushback.
Will London be frontline against the China CCP?
For these people, we also have an understanding that we must continue to voice outside of Hong Kong, because people in Hong Kong, they cannot speak up. It's us to speak up for them when they are unable to do so. So there will be a lot of advocacy work for Hong Kong, a lot of rallies, gatherings, when, for example, some memorable day in Hong Kong's protest or the 4th of June candlelight vigil. I think this would be a gathering place or a central point of diasporic Hong Kong community, and we will continue our activism right here.
Are you able to keep in touch with your friends or family members in Hong Kong?
I'm unable to connect with my family or friends in politics because these actions may endanger them. If the government found out that I'm in connection with them, they could fabricate charges like colluding with foreign forces or subversion or assisting me of doing secession, things like this to my friends in politics. So I haven't been able to contact them. And this is really sad because what I have been doing made, that I have to cut ties with my friends and my family.
So this is very conceptual question. What does freedom mean to you?
In the way that I understand freedom, it may not be absolute and it may not have the same definition to every people. So for me, freedom means that we have the right to say no. We have the right to state a position that the governing body doesn't like. So for me, it means we can protest in Hong Kong. We can publicize a news article that is critical to the Chinese Communist Party. And for me, I can do things that the people in power doesn't like. I think that is freedom for me.
So one more thing, just a similar question. Sorry.
Yeah.
What does Hong Kong mean for you?
Hong Kong means everything. Hong Kong is my home, the place that I love, the place that I dedicate years of time or in the future, decades of time, that I want it to be better. I love the people, I love the place. We are not perfect, but we are lovely. I think there are no ways that can remind me of home other than Hong Kong, and I would do everything for me to pave my way back to this city.
So if Hong Kong to change all of their aspects, so you can say that you love Hong Kong.
Well, I think Hong Kong is not defined by the government.
Sure.
Hong Kong is defined by the people, by the way that we live together. And the only condition for me to go back to Hong Kong is for Hong Kong to change for better. And I want it to happen, so I wanted to go home.
最後まで見ていただきましてありがとうございます。テレビ東京の経済ニュース、経済番組をもっと見たいという方はこちらの画像をクリックしまして動画配信サービステレ東BIZにアクセスしてください。どうぞよろしくお願いいたします。